Welcome to Find Your Outdoors. I'm your host, Frank Willem.
And I'm your co-host, Brittany Willem. And we're excited to welcome you to a new season in our new studio.
I'll say, I love our new place and look forward to many more years in our new location. You may recall last season, in the first part of our African adventure, we went cage diving with great white sharks down in Cape Town, South Africa.
Then in part 2, we took you to the Madaka Ranch to hunt plains game.
And one of the best parts of these types of trips is having the chance to travel with good friends and family. John Husbands is married to my wife's cousin Luann and is an accomplished hunter. He and his daughter Susanna have hunted all over North America, including their own ranch in Texas.
And I was lucky enough to be invited to their ranch to hunt whitetail in an episode a couple of years ago. We were lucky to have them along on this trip, and you'll get the chance to meet them in an episode later.
But today we're back on the 11 square mile Madaka Ranch with the Gaddy, some of our other friends. Dr. Don Gaddy is one of the most avid outdoorsmen I know. He's been hunting and fishing pretty much his entire life, and he's really good at it. Last day on the Tres Amigos, Don Gaddy. Say something to your fans, Don.
Oh yeah, Costa Rica, can't beat it.
How's it feel, Don?
What I've been waiting for. I'm telling you that if you get a chance to fish with Carl, don't do it.
Things I've ever done in my life is get down in the water with the great white shark. I mean, how stupid is that?
I've had the good fortune to be along with Don on some of his outdoor adventures and watched him firsthand. Of course, he's been on many, many more where I wasn't. These include his first trip to Africa, New Zealand, and Australia, plus many other places.
So when the opportunity arose for him and his family to join us on our trip to South Africa, we were glad to have them along. While both he and his daughter Neely had hunted on African safaris before, they both wanted to return for a shot at bow hunting. Neither his wife Katie nor stepson Vincent had ever hunted before, and Don wanted to bring them along to give them their first chance.
And their professional hunter was Isak. He's an experienced hunter who has stalked a wide variety of game all over the world. We were invited to his home in Africa, where we had a chance to see pictures of many of these hunts.
But not only is Isak quite experienced, he has an uncanny ability to think like an animal and predict what they're likely to do and where they were most likely to go. His record on successful tracking is remarkable, and he's certainly demonstrated it for the Gaddys. Katie was the first Gaddy to give it a try.
It's an explosive experience when you come there and you see all this game around you, and it's so different. So we find a lot of women and wives that's never hunted before that, in like Katie's scenario, decided, I really want to hunt something. So we took it to the range, and I had some, I showed her about gun safety, we showed her how to shoot. She did say she did shoot something in the past, but she wanted to feel comfortable. And then I took her on the hunt.
Gims buck. I'm just getting out, and I didn't know what to expect, and we were hiking up and down, and there was sticker bushes everywhere, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And when I first saw the animal.
And women in general is excellent hunters. They really listen to you. They don't want to show you they know everything, and when they do that, it's much easier for us as professional hunters.
Our professional hunter was he was fantastic with me and Vincent. And I don't know if he realized it was both of our first times ever hunting, but he made us feel comfortable, he made us feel safe. He talked us through everything when we were hunting.
we were following this gemsbuck. It went down into this riverine, up in another valley, and luckily I had one of my game guards that was patrolling the fence that I saw on the one side. He had a radio, I had a radio. I asked him if he could see what happened to the gemsbuck, and he said, well, he's on his way back to us, straight to us, and I just put her in the shadow, and we stood in the shadow, and he literally came walking, I don't think it was more than 30 yards past us. It was so close. I think something that helped us that we didn't know it, this blindness left eye. So he'd walked pretty close past us without seeing us.
Kind of walked around a corner and he said, take a shot.
I never take a shot at any animal that's walking. I always tell it to all my clients, but in her case, it was very close. I could see over the barrel. I told her to take the shot, and it was a perfect double lung shot. And it ran, I wanted 30, 50 yards and went down. It's very nice when that happens, specifically with a first-time hunter. The last thing you want to do is let them wound something, because then they never want to hunt again.
Well guys, we're here in Zululand, South Africa, and I've got Gaddy here all the way from Long Beach, Mississippi, and she wanted a gemsbuck.
And I got one.
We were very lucky this morning. We saw him on the rolling hill, and we followed him for quite a long time. He went down a hill and we managed to come around with the wind in our favor, and I had a spotter on the one side and he came walking straight at us. We were just lucky in the right position, and you could have taken him with a bow. That was a 30-yard shot.
It was an old one, and I felt better because he was blind in one eye. So for my first one, I felt like, you know, but then after that I was good. And I got it on the first shot, but it was that was probably the most memorable, just because it was the first.
I always say that to the fathers at home that want to take their children out. Don't pressure them. Don't go and look for the biggest animal. In her case as well, it was an old gemsbuck, but it had very short horns. So as a first-time animal, I did explain it before the time, and she was completely happy taking that animal down.
You know, it's like deer here, and they're big game. It helps feed people, it helps conserve animals. The money that you spend hunting goes towards conservation of animals. And you know, I never thought, like I said, I would be a hunter, but going around and watching that animal, everything in that animal is used, and nothing goes to waste. So I would say, you know, sorry if you don't agree, but they really do something. And to watch them give food to the school that he sent us, or just, you know, local people around, it was neat to see.
And it's very joyful for me to see the reaction on them. And we created a hunter for life now. She's talking already about coming back, and she's got a bigger list than her husband now.
Oh, very, very nice, and congratulations, man.
Thank you.
That's gonna go home to the USA.
Yes.
I enjoy lobster diving, inshore fishing, and offshore fishing for tuna, wahoo, and dolphin. I don't do it because I get a thrill out of the kill, but I do enjoy the sport and the seafood in my diet. But I strongly believe that anything we harvest should be used and not wasted or cast aside.
Most of our game is self-sufficient, so it's natural habitat, it's natural births. So you will find when you do come over much more family groups than you will find just males. So it's not I don't want to use the word, but a put and take type of operation, where you've got someone that's got a game ranch and the trucks are constantly rolling in. We've got a very, very well established way of managing our game, having game counts of helicopters at the end of the year, seeing how much is our game, seeing how much adults do we have on average, and then by that way determining the next year how many trophies are we going to take off. Now, we don't only hunt on Madaka. We've got over 400,000 acres within the Natal province that we do hunt, and we take people to. So in each one, we use the same methodology of counting these animals and managing them. You have to understand, in South Africa, the game is our own property. We've got more privately owned game ranches than you have national reserves. So we have to manage these animals, and it's one of the best example of game and how game have flourished, because they get sustainable and the utilization of them, and they've got a value behind their name. It's gone from in the 50s of about 5,000 animals to over 20 million animals today. So that just shows you how things have completely exploded, but for only one reason: they've got value, and we use them for that way. I've got a first-class butchery that every single piece is utilized. And if I mean by every single piece, not just the skin, the hooves, the bones, even the stomach content. The tribes in Africa, the intestines is a nourishment protein for them. We're sitting with massive amounts of very, very poor people around us. So all of this is utilized, and every single piece is being sold. Everything is calculated. So you have to manage the species. You have to also manage your bloodlines, even on the very, very big areas. So I mean, we've got areas that's over 100,000 acres, and the one thing that a lot of Americans ask me, is it high fence? Yes, it is high fence because it's privately owned, and once they go out of your area, they're not yours anymore according to our constitution or our laws. So unless it's microchipped, and you can't do it of all your animals, you can only do it of very expensive animals like elephant and rhinos. But once it's out of your property, it's not yours anymore. So we have to protect them, we have to manage them, and we do this together with leaders that's been studying game farm management. And they, like for example, on my property, I know I've got over 34 different species of grass alone. I know in which areas this grass is the most. So with this, the type of grass, the type of trees, we've got conservationists that come along and tell, okay, you can have so much of this kind of species and so much of that kind of species. This eats so much, is so much equivalent to so much browsing, eating, etc. So with that we manage it, and with that we decide on how much do we take off. X amount of females we have to take off, and X amount of males we have to take off. Now obviously, you have the top 5% is trophy hunting, that maybe supplies over 80% of all our income. The rest is local meat hunting, and if we have too much of a specific animal, we will also cull them.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, Vincent came to Africa having never hunted before. It's sort of like playing in the Super Bowl as your first professional football game, but he handled himself quite well.
My first hunt was a wildebeest. I was pretty excited about it. That would be my first time hunting. So I had Isak, and it was very fun hunting with him. He knew what he was doing. I expected that it was going to be good hunting. I expected it to be fun, and everyone knew what they were doing and everything, so it was good.
Yeah, on Vincent's first hunt, his mother was very concerned that he's going to get what we call buck fever, and although in general we do trophy hunting, I did discuss it with her before the time. Say, listen, I'm going to just get whatever is the easiest animal, and that's presenting it very well, and she was happy with me doing that.
It didn't take long to find them. I would say they were about 200 yards away, and we walked about 20 yards, and they were like on the other side of a canyon. I know they travel in herds, and they always stay together. They like the brush and stuff, I think, so it's kind of harder to find them. It took us a while, but then after I got it, there were a bunch of them everywhere.
So we went and we actually found an old cow in the herd. So she was standing perfectly broadside. I had to maneuver a little bit around.
We walked over, like there was a tree down there, so we had to move.
Got him on the sticks. He was very calm. I looked at him, he wasn't shaking.
Brought the stand up and we shot across. There was like a little valley, and we had shot across there.
The big thing is, when you speak to them, and you speak to them calmly, just close your finger, the shot went off, and it was a perfect shot.
He ran for probably, I'd say, about like 100 yards, and then we had to walk down through and go get him. So we walked a little bit and then we eventually found it.
Ran off 100 yards further, it was down double lung shot as well. So that immediately, once he did that, he was ready to go the next level and start looking for trophies. And he was very happy to do that.
So Vincent had bagged his first animal, an older blue wildebeest, and was eager for his next hunt, this time for an impala.
We had to get out and like come around up on like this little ridge, and there was a bunch of grass right there.
And we were very lucky finding this impala on a burnt area. We were right next to an area that we took some gravel out to repair the roads, and on the side of this gravel there was some grass that didn't burn in the fire.
It was pretty cool, but it was a pretty far shot. It was about, I'd say 200, 210 yards. It was a pretty far shot. So they were burning the fields for like rotation so it would like grow better. And that field was burnt, so it was pretty low right there, but there was like brush, like a little bit of brush between us. So it covered us, but it was mainly just burnt grass there, so it was pretty easy to see them.
He's the one that walked past the tree at the back. Do you see him?
That one right there, that one.
He's walking to the right of the tree. He's picking up his head, he's looking at us.
There was some brush in front of us, but that it was there, I think it kind of helped like cover us.
I see him. When you're ready, you can take the shot. He's looking back. Don't shoot him while he's walking there. So it gave us perfect cover. I could push the barrel through the grass, so he didn't have the scope was through the grass, but the barrel was past the grass.
It was kind of hard to see through it, but once I saw it and he kind of directed me to it, he set the sticks up and I found it.
Oh, you hit him definitely.
Did I have a good spot?
Yes, down, my friend. He is down, and that is over a 200-yard shot. Congratulations.
Thank you.
High five. He was a very, very good shot for a first-time hunter, and but it all tells you about just being calm, don't rush things.
It went down as soon as I got it, so it was a good shot.
Mum is here to watch it as well.
Yep.
I was excited. My mom was proud of me too, and so was he. It was exciting.
And then just getting to watch my son hunt and just spend time with him, getting to watch Brittany hunt, for a day. It's not just the hunting and the killing, it's the tracking and the hiking and the looking for things, it's driving around. It was just the whole day. You could spend a whole day doing just hunting or looking around, and it was amazing. Everyone, all of the people there just treated you like family. I can't ask for a better experience.
Let them save that moment forever, and it beats sitting in front of a TV and playing video games. Hunting in God's country.
I think it's safe to say that Vincent and Katie enjoyed hunting in Africa every bit as much as I did. It was truly an amazing experience.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll have more African action later in the season, where you'll get to meet some more of our team that was hunting in Madaka. You can find more about upcoming episodes at our website, www.findyouroutdoors.tv, or on our Facebook page.
And please join us next week for another episode of Find Your Outdoors.
We'll see you then.